Don't you love it when you accidentally stumble upon some interesting railroad activity? That happened to me and my wife recently. We were going to a yard sale and ended up spending a couple hours watching Wisconsin and Southern assembling a train on their main line in the tiny town of Zendo, Wisconsin. This tiny town is home to a similarly tiny switcher engine and a giant grain storage facility. Honestly, I think the grain storage facility is larger than the town. When we arrived, the locomotives had already left much of the train on the main line and were backing down the spur to pick up their first load of grain cars. It wasn't a very long wait before they had the first batch of cars coupled and were pulling back off the spur toward us. The motive power on this train consisted of 4 of Wisconsin Southern's newly acquired SD-60s that they got from Union Pacific last year. As you can see, they have yet to be repainted into Wisconsin Southern's distinctive red and light gray paint scheme, and instead simply have the reporting marks of WAMX added. That WAMX corresponds to Watco, the holding company that owns Wisconsin Southern, as well as quite a number of other short-line railroads. The train pulls out now onto the main line, just far enough to block the crossing. Obviously, they went only as far as they needed to in order to throw the switch behind the train to back into the other track to pick up a second string of hopper cars. But it did mean blocking the crossing. Fortunately, in a small town like this, not many people were inconvenienced by needing to cross the tracks. that the switch has been thrown, the train once again begins to reverse to pick up the second string of hoppers. Once the second string of hopper cars is coupled onto the train will have to sit idle for some time while the conductor both releases the handbrakes on the new string of hoppers and walks the length of the train from the rear all the way up to the locomotives. The train is going back onto the main line to stay this time, and it needs an inspection before it can move on. This took quite a while, so I went back to the car to stay warm while we waited. The train pulls forward now for the second time, bringing a full string of about 50 hopper cars onto the main line. These hopper cars are fully loaded, probably with corn, based on what I could see scattered on the tops of the cars. While these cars' final destination is unknown, their next destination is Chicago, more specifically Clearing Yard, the Belt Railway of Chicago's yard on the south side of Chicago, not far from Midway Airport. With the last car clear of the spur and onto the main line, the conductor resets the derail, a precaution to prevent cars from rolling off the spur onto the main line. Looks like he's resetting the derail, so they're not going back on the siding, which means I was right. We're getting ready to roll on the main. He then resets the switch to be clear for the main line, allowing the locomotives to reverse these new hoppers and couple them onto the rest of the train that they left on the main line earlier. Those tasks completed, the conductor climbs onto the rear car to direct the engineer as he reverses the train. cars parked on the main line presumably have handbrakes engaged to prevent them from rolling away while the train is working. This also means, though, that when this moving portion of the train collides with them to couple on, they don't have anywhere to move. This can result in that. Pretty dramatic coupling. The engineer now moves the train forward just a few feet to make sure that the coupling was successful, which it was, and then reverses the train far enough to allow the locomotives to not block any of the crossings in town. This train is going to stay here till about 10 p.m. tonight, when a new crew will take over and take it all the way to Chicago. If you enjoyed this video and the new narration, let me know by leaving a like or a comment, or a subscribe if you really liked it. If, on the other hand, you hated it, be sure to leave a comment letting me know too, so I don't inflict it on you again. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have fun train watching.